All right, guys. I don't know about you, but I was really bored by the first round of the quarterfinals in the CEV Men's Champions League playoffs. I thought that these matches were going to be hype. I thought they were going to be excited. I thought they were going to be full of drama, right? That's why I did a preview. I was excited for these matchups. I thought we had some intrigue. But instead, for 2 straight days, from 1 p.m. Eastern Time to about 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern Time, I was pretty bored, right? There was one match that showed up, and the others were all kind of duds. And now, to be honest, I thought it was going to be the exact opposite. And per match by match, I thought it was going to be the exact opposite. I thought we were going to have 3 of the 4 matchups be really good battles, and then the one maybe be kind of a blowout. And the exact opposite happened, right? The exact opposite thing happened. I thought the only game that might be a dud was Guaguas versus Perugia. But at the same time, I also kind of called it that one did have some potential for intrigue, that Guaguas was actually a better team than most people give them credit for. And just because it was a Spanish team against Perugia, of all teams, it might actually still be pretty good. And instead, that was the only one that was interesting. And other than that, it was a 1-9. 1-9 across all of the other sets, across the other 3 matches. We had 3 of the teams who really failed to show up at all in their best forms, who really got their asses handed to them without much fuss. 2 of them on their home courts as well. So that was something. I did Twitch streams for 2 of these matches because I thought, like, hey, there's going to be a lot to talk about here. And, while I thank everyone for tuning in, I'm almost sorry. It's a good thing it didn't cost anything, because I'd probably have to give you a refund because of how boring it all was. So let's break it down chronologically. Why won't we? Because, that's what we do here. Just to go over the match scores, Warsaw took down Lublin 3-1. Perugia went to the limit with Guaguas 3-2. And then on Wednesday, Ziraat Bank 3-0 on Rzeszow. And then Zaviercie 3-0 against Lube. So we're going to start it off with Warsaw against Lublin, because why not? I mean, this one, we've had a lot of data between these teams. They're 3 and, they've played 3 times this year. Lublin is 3-0, especially if you count the friendly. But in this one, it was much different. Project Warsaw goes in and gets their first win over Lublin this year, and they did it in pretty dominating fashion. And it was all in the first phase of the game. It was all in serve, receive, and then everything from there was just, it was obvious what was going to happen. Lublin could not serve the ball. 7 aces, 23 errors across the 4 sets. Warsaw was the opposite. 7 aces as well, but only 17 errors. So a little bit difference there, but especially you have to look at the passing. Lublin here, 21% positive, 6% perfect, whereas Warsaw, 56% positive, 28% perfect. Lublin couldn't put a ball in, and then they were taking a little bit of heat off of it just to kind of get the ball in play. And Warsaw there was just absolutely allowed to feast. I mean, just look at some of these passing numbers set by set. Like, they get better as these sets go on. Whereas Lublin, oh man, it was rough. And Warsaw had a clear serving target. Now, I thought going into this match that they're going after Hiller Henno. I thought Henno was going to be the guy because he is, a little bit inexperienced. Last year he was in the NCAA, and we know he's maybe not the greatest passer. So maybe go after him, create a bit of a weak point, and then let the game flow from there. And they went the complete opposite. Instead of going after Hiller, they went after Leon. And Leon, man, he was absolutely dogged after this match, no doubt about it. 54 targets. 54 of the 82 targets in this match went to Alfredo Leon. That's 66% of the serve-receive attempts went to the outside player, former Cuban, now Polish. And on top of that, he also led Lublin in attack attempts with 31. And, I mean, it was clear what they were trying to do. A, it gave them, a pretty good result. Leon passed 24% and 7%. Just slightly better, if you will, than Hiller. But it really just dogged him because he was really bad offensively. 12 for 31, 2 unforced errors, got blocked 3 times. He was 0 for 17 from the baseline with 7 errors on top of that. And they really just piled on to Wilfredo Leon. And that just opened up the entire rest of the game for Warsaw. And I mean, Lublin is dealing with some injuries. Leon has his entire left hand taped up. It sounds like he has a bit of a hand fracture. Not ideal. Kevin Sosek still not 100%, still not coming back. So you got Malinovsky starting on the right side. But Lublin, was just really, really rigid throughout this match. And to me, it was really frustrating to watch Antigua just kind of sit there and not do anything. And I rate Antigua, he did some great things with Team Canada. I've spoken to him a number of times. I think he's a really good coach. But in this one, man, was it hard to watch. You've got 66% of the attempts, of the serve receive attempts going after Leon, and you don't make any changes at all. Now, I know Thales Haas had a bit of an injury, right? They were swapping him out for Chirek. Chirek was playing defense. Haas was on serve receive, but still, he was only targeted 8 times. But I really would have loved to see Lublin do something. Antigua do something different rather than just leave Leon in there to struggle. So, I mean, there's a few things you could have done. Especially in the Champions League, they've worked with that 3 outside hitter system before. They've tried Leon on the right. That didn't quite work as they wanted to, so that you put Hiller Hanna, who is a lefty, on the right. Bring in Jackson Young on the left. Let Jackson maybe kind of stabilize that passing a little bit. And you don't need to take out Leon every single time, depending on the rotation. But if you need to, if he's getting tired or, if he's getting targeted too much, just pull him out. Go Thales, Hiller, Jackson. Or on top of that, if he's serving as bad as he did, no aces. He did have 17 attempts and led his team in attempts, so there's that. But still, let him serve and then sub him out. Give him a few rotations off from serve receive. Give him a chance to take a seat. Take off that mental load. But instead, we had Antigua just kind of sit there and do nothing. Hell, there was a moment at the end of the 4th or I think it was even the 3rd. I can't remember, where there was a ball that was down that could have given Lublin the full advantage, and he didn't challenge it. And there was even a shot of the Lublin owner yelling at him, being like, "What are we doing? Why aren't you challenging this?" And Antigua just kind of sitting there and staring off into the distance. So yeah, it was a tough one to watch, as Warsaw at home just absolutely stomped Lublin. And I mean, if you look the way that Warsaw too ran their offense, they had 51% as a team. Bednor's led with 21. Gomulka, who's done a fantastic job coming in, I think he's now the starter, no doubt about it, with 15. And then you had Kevin Tilley with 16 as well. You still had Kokonowski and Semeniuk at 9 and 8 apiece. So pretty good job overall there by Warsaw. But to me, they just played clean volleyball. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot. They didn't make too many errors. And they just let Lublin go out there and not perform. It was a little bit frustrating. I won't lie. It was a little bit frustrating. Now, game 2, they do head back to Lublin, where they could potentially force a golden set. Right? This is still a very good team, but we'll have to see how they respond and how they can play against their home crowd. Of course, they need to win in 3 or in 4 to be able to force that golden set, but I think of all the matches going back in leg number 2, this is the one that could potentially be a golden set. All right, moving on now to the next one. My eye is itchy. This one was the one, of course, that we thought could potentially be a blowout, but I did kind of set you up for it. I'm not going to say I called it, but I did potentially set you up for it in saying that Guaguas has a really good team. This is a really good roster, and they make it hard to play at home. And it was almost a carbon copy of what happened last time these two teams played on Gran Canaria, right? Perugia goes up 2-0. Guaguas comes back to tie it up, and then they let it slip in the 5th. And I mean, the first set was kind of a yo-yo. Perugia would go ahead, and Guaguas would come back. And then Perugia would go ahead again, and Guaguas would come back, and eventually they were able to close it out. The second, was just pure dominance all the way through. You'll kind of see here, 8-4, 16-9, 21-15, ends 25-19. But then in the 3rd, that's kind of when things changed. Guaguas ended up bringing in Thomas Rousseau, the Belgian outside, and he just added a little bit of balance to the offense for Guaguas because, they're really good on the right with, another Brazilian who we're never going to see play for the national team in Francisco Walla, as we see on his jersey. He is very dynamic, hits the ball hard. They have one of the more underrated middles in the world in Helder Spencer, who is almost unstoppable. Right, 14 for 23, and I mean 23 attempts in the middle. It just shows how good he actually is. And Martin Ramos is the same thing. He, 10 for 13, he was unreal. But once the 3rd started, they made that switch, and it was just pure piss and vinegar from Guaguas. And I have, Sergio Camarero. Man, is he animated. He is fun to watch. He's so much fun to watch. And they really just rode that wave. And if, we look at how these sets broke down, they were back and forth. At one point, Perugia got back the lead, and then all of a sudden, It was back to Guaguas once again. They took the third 25-21, took the fourth 25-23. It was the same thing in the fourth where they just kind of stuck with it, stayed within 1 or 2 points, and then made athletic plays towards the end. But the third set is where it was definitely a bit of a letdown, right? Where things was a little bit frustrating for Guaguas. I thought there was a number of opportunities where they could have ran Helder Spencer in transition, and they didn't. How she goes sometimes. And ultimately, I think it's a win for Guaguas because they made Perugia raise their level, right? They made Perugia come out there and play a better game than they thought they needed to. You could tell that Perugia thought that they were maybe just going to coast through this one, and that's not what they were able to do at all, right? They really got pushed in this match, no doubt about it. And I mean, look at some of these numbers for Perugia. Bentara with 28, Plotnitsky with 20, Russo had 14, Semeniuk had 13. Not a great day there for Semeniuk, no doubt. Of course, Ishikawa still injured. He's on the roster, but still not playing yet. I do wish we would have seen a little bit more of Donovan Dasveronik. He's healthy. He's been coming in to serve a little bit, but I wish we could see a little bit more for him. And then, of course, because Augustin Lozère is injured right now, it's a Federico Cosato who's playing out there as well. He was 8 for 13, 2 blocks, no service aces, so not that bad at all. So, I mean, it seemed like we had an opportunity for Guaguas to do something special, for them to go out and cause a bit of a stir, cause a little bit of controversy, but unfortunately that just wasn't the case, as Perugia was just way better than them in the end of it. And I mean, skill-wise, they are, although this Guaguas team, once again, not that bad. Like, you have that depth to bring in a guy like Thomas Rousseau. I really liked their setter, Echevarria. Their libero, Unai, was all right, too. But yeah, this is a pretty good Guaguas team, but unfortunately, I think that's the end of it. I don't really see that world where they're going to be able to go to Perugia, not only push this game to 5, but win it in 5. If they're going to have to do that anywhere, it was going to be at home. So it was fun while it lasted, and that was kind of where the fun ended as well, too. Because past that, the games on Tuesday were at least a little bit interesting, right? There was a little bit of intrigue there. That's at least where some other sets were won, because once we go on to the games on Thursday, there was just dongs left and right. Literally left and right? And Resovia at home lays an egg. And ultimately, I think it's a bit of a disappointing showing from Resovia as well, too. I thought that this was a team who could maybe run with Ziraat Bank a little bit. There's a lot of talent on this team. A lot of talent on this roster, up and down. Instead, 3 dong in favor of Ziraat Bank, 25-21, 25-23, 25-20. And I mean, not much to say about Ziraat Bank. This is a really good team, but man, Resovia, they were up 23-20 in that second set. They had the lead earlier on, lost it, had the lead again, and yeah, up 23-20, and they just pissed it away. And I said in my preview that Resovia needed to do 2 things well, and that was block and pass. And now they blocked pretty well. They had 10 blocks, and they won that department in this game against Ziraat Bank, but they did not pass very well, and instead they passed absolutely horribly. 25% positive, only 12% perfect. And you know what? One of the reasons why I wanted them to be able to pass well is so that they could open up with their middle. And instead, they only got 10 attempts with their middle. 7 to Danny Demyanenko, and I mean, he was good. Demyanenko was one of the only guys bringing some juice out there. He was set 5 for 7 overall, got 3 blocks and an ace. Poreba only got set 3 times throughout the entirety of the match. But it was hard for Janusz because the passing just wasn't there. And unfortunately, the biggest culprit of all of the guys was Pavel Zatorski. We know he's a legend. We know he's a little bit longer in the tooth, but man, Zatorski did not look great out there at all. 24 targets, he passed 25 and 17, got aced once. But, it's not like Luetzi was that much better. And same thing with Shalpuk. Shalpuk was at least putting the ball away, whereas Luetzi hit under 25% efficiency. He did have 3 blocks, but still, it was a rough afternoon for the Frenchman. And to me, I don't know what it is in the water in Poland. Maybe it's something that's left over from the Soviet area that you're just not allowed to make any changes to your roster. But there's so many different things that Massimo Botti could have done with this roster. First and foremost, you have Michael Potera on the bench. Sub him in, put him in for Zatorski. If Zatorski's not playing great, which he wasn't, put in Michael Potera, who's quite decent, right? There's a reason why Eric Shoji isn't wearing a libero jersey, is because by a lot of people's opinions, Potera has kind of outplayed Shoji this year. So put him in, give him that shot. if one of your guys is floundering, give another guy a shot. I mean, that's pretty simple coaching. But past that, you've got Cebu who can come in and provide some power. You know, let him just swing away. Or you're having a hard time scoring on the left side. A combined 18 for 41 on the left side between Shalpuk and Nuetsi. Bring in Cebu. Maybe he can score. Or on the opposite side of things, bring in Lucas Vecina. Let him open things up. He was the best passer in the Plusliga last year. Let Vecina get in, pass a few balls, solidify that serve. See if you can run Demjanenko. You can open it up and run it a little bit faster on the outside. And, you know, you can get some more balls to Karol Brushin, who was actually pretty good, 11 for 21 overall. So I just don't understand what it is. Like with Rzeszów, their greatest asset and their greatest strength is their depth. You have 4 legitimate outsides, 4 guys on the left side who could be starters on a lot of teams, especially in the Plusliga. And yet you don't switch it up at all, even though your guys are struggling. I just don't understand why not, why this is happening, especially amongst these Polish teams. So, yeah, and especially like Ziraat Bank, man, they're just so dominant, so dominant. And especially like when you look at the way that Yeni Pazar is spreading this offense too, right? 11 points for Klevno, 11 points for Nemir, 10 for Fornal, 9 for Bubul, 6 for Savas, right? He just spreads that around. Keeping, you know, Nemir's attempts low at only 22. You love to see that. Spreading like 16 for Klevno, 15 for Tomasz Fornal. Just let the boys run with it. Like, this team is just really, really good. And they're also really well prepared. This is time and time again where we see that in these big matches against big teams, Mustafa Kavas has this team prepared. And I said it in my preview, I really think that Ziraat Bank has a chance to go all the way. Has a chance to be a team, like now they're definitely in the driver's seat to be able to go to the Final Four, but has a chance also to be a team that goes to the final. Can they be the first ever Turkish team to win the Champions League? I mean, there's been some really good teams. Like some of the Turkish teams back in the 2010s were really, really good. But man, this team right now is looking fantastic. And I really don't like Rzeszow's chances in leg 2, as you have to head back to Ankara. I know I made that mistake last time around. So they're from Istanbul. I apologize. They're from Ankara. But still, you have to go back to Ankara to one of, you know, like to Turkish fans. I just don't see it. I really don't see it for Rzeszów. So, I mean, if I was a betting man, I would be putting my money on Ziraat Bank for leg number 2. And then finally, there was one other matchup, one other snooze fest to talk about. And this one was just complete and utter domination by Zaviercie. Oh, man. And now, heading into this one, I knew there would kind of be a bit of a mismatch for Lube. Lube really relies on their strong serving to be able to go after teams. Right? They really rely on pinpointing a weakness on the other team. And Zaviercie, along with Lube, is one of the best passing teams in volleyball. Popivchek, Folek, Russell, that is a very good passing lineup. And I knew that, you know, Lube would have to really pinpoint Aaron Russell in this one. And not only, I mean, they did that a little bit. They gave him the most attempts, 18. Kolek had 16, but man, Zaviercie was just so damn good offensively. Part of it was that Lube, you know, was missing a lot of serves. They missed 22 serves in just 3 sets of play. Not ideal. But at the same time, holy, look down here. 71% hitting in the first, 82% hitting in the second. Zaviercie was just all over the place. Their first ball side out was so damn clean. And I mean, I said it was all going to stem from Biniak, and that's exactly what it was. He was 9 for 10 in this match. He was pretty much automatic, just ate them up in the middle. Jurek Glider was all right too. He was 3 for 5. Not quite as efficient though, right? Biniak, no errors, didn't get blocked. There was no one who could play at his level in the middle for Lube. But I mean, other than Kyle Ensing, who came off the bench and missed 1 shot and then went right back out, all of Zaviercie's hitters are hitting above 50%. Every single one of them. Miguel Tavares just did an absolutely phenomenal job of running this offense. And now people were kind of getting on Lube for not having passed it that well. I didn't think it was terrible. And the numbers tell that as well. 39% positive, 18% perfect. Yeah, it's down from what it is normally for this team. And especially from a guy like Fabio Balasso, who got most of the targets, passed 36% perfect, 16% excellent. But Zaviercie served really well. And I mean, Kwolek serves well, Russell serves well, Tavares serves well, Glader serves well, Biniak, who's one of their best server. I mean, he missed 5. One of the worst parts of Zaviercie's game on Thursday was the fact that Biniak's serve was terrible. And if he had been able to put the ball into court, I think it would have been even worse on the side for Lube, because in sets 1 and 2, they were absolutely untouchable. Now, the third set is where things kind of changed up a little bit. Lube was down 2017, and they made the change to bring in NDR, Noadzfri Rossi, in for Botolo. And he made an immediate impact, made a dig, passed a couple of balls, and all of a sudden, just like that, Lube is up 21-20. And I mean, they lost that lead a couple times, then got it back, but they were just unable to capitalize on everything. First and foremost, they're missing serves. It's really hard to get that break point to, make that advantage to an actual lead when you're missing that when he serves. And also, unfortunately, Alex Nikolov was just all over the place after 21. And there was times when he was good and times where he was not so good in this match. And it's too bad. Like the big thing with this Lube team is that they're so focused on Alex Nikolov. 35 attempts in this match, and he was 17 for 35, made 6 errors. 2 of those errors were after 20 in that third set, after they had taken the lead. He was like 1 for 6 or 1 for 7 with a missed serve too, after 21 when they had taken that lead. And it was tough to see. I mean, that last one, he's a little bit off balance, just puts it a little bit long, trying to go for hands and misses it. It is what it is, but not a great look there for Alex Nikolov. Of course, Eric Lepke, who I thought had a phenomenal game, not so much from the baseline, but offensively, he was 11 for 16. There was a moment in that third set, too, where they made one of their few digs. It was a tight set. He did try to go hero mode. Maybe he should have just turned and burned, put it over, but set that ball over on his back. I mean, he was a setter in club back in high school, but those days are long gone, and kind of missed the mark for Nikolov on the left side. That was probably Lube's best shot to get back into that match. And honestly, if Lube had been able to steal that third set and prolong it, I really liked their chances at that point. Because that's when Zaviercie started to see a little bit of, doubt. 3 errors in that set, which is how many they made in the first 2 sets combined. A lot of those were to the end. Like Kwolek made an error late. Aaron Russell made an error late. I think he actually made 2. No, he didn't make 2. He only made one in the game. But still, like, that's where, Zaviercie's game just started to deteriorate just a little bit. And Lube unable to do anything to really go in there and take advantage and go grab that opportunity from them. Because had they been able to push it, even if they'd been able to push to 5 and lost, that's a much better opportunity to be able to go get the golden set. But unfortunately, they just were not. And I mean, look at this Zaviercie offense too, like 12 points for Aaron Russell, 10 for Kwolek. Kwolek, I thought, was outstanding in this match. I don't understand how he's not a guy on the Polish national team. If you look at his passing numbers too, 69 and 38. Like, can he not play a role coming in off the bench? Śliwka is injured. Semeniuk is all over the place. Leon can't pass the ball. Like, pick a Fornal, like between Fornal, Bednor's, Leon, and Semeniuk. Pick 3 of those 4 guys and bring Kwolek as that glue guy, as that guy who can come in and just pass. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but who knows? But yeah, 12 for Russell, 10 for Kwolek, 9 for Biniak, 8 for Bovanj, and he was 7 for 11 overall too. Like, it was just absolutely textbook by Zaviercie as well. 4 aces, only 14 errors. I mean, as I said, Lube's serving just atrocious. 1 ace by Bonifante to 22 errors. And now, I mean, this one is pretty much done and dusted, because Lube Civitanova, who's one of the worst road teams of the best teams in volleyball, they're under 500 on the road this season, 8-9 on the road in total, now have to go to one of the best home gyms in front of one of the best home crowds in Zaviercie. It's not their normal gym, but still. And hope for a miracle. The only thing that gives Lube a bit of something looking into the next matchup, and actually we'll just pull this up here just so we can see the next matchups too. But the only thing that gives Lube a bit of a chance is the fact that Zaviercie has to play game 1 of their quarterfinal series against Zaksa on Sunday, whereas Lube, because they've already taken care of business against Trentino, and Piacenza and Modena have to play their match this weekend, Lube doesn't have anything to do. They can rest, they can prepare, and they can get ready for this match against Zaviercie. If by some miracle they can make that happen, of course, like, that match isn't until Thursday. So they have an entire week to get ready for this match. So if they can get their shit together and be good on the road for one time this season, then we may have a match. But other than that, only one of the teams who lost in round 1 will be heading home into round 2 in the second leg, and that will be Lublin. I give Lublin the best opportunity to give us a golden set and maybe push back against Warszawa. They've already beaten Warszawa twice this year. This is a better team than, we expect. This is a very good team, and they should be better overall. And they're going to be playing at home. I know they haven't been outstanding at home as of late. They're really good in the first half of the season, not so great in the second half of the season, but still, they're over 500. And that Lublin crowd is very good. But other than that, I'm calling Ziraat Bank to take care of business at home. I'm calling Perugia to take care of business at home. I'm calling Zaviercie to take care of business at home. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Warszawa wins this one. It seems like everyone's saying in the Discord that they've really turned around since their win against Trentino. But, yeah, we want to look at Warszawa, but that hasn't been that many games since they've won 3 since they beat Trentino, and they beat Skroch, Helm, and now Lublin. So I don't know if that's enough data to be able to tell us, but they do play later on today against Rzeszów in the first round of the playoffs, so maybe we'll get a better idea there. So I will probably be doing a live stream. Once again, join me on Twitch, twitch.com/thatvolleyballguy. Of course, if you want to find it, you can always find it on the Volleyball Source Discord, and have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Peace.